everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Rantoinette. Let's get into it. Today, Linda McMahon, famed wife of Vince McMahon, the wrestling dude, who is now the head of the Department of Education. I mean, don't even give me any shit about merits-based employment ever again. But whatever. She decided she's going to cut 50% of funding for special needs kids and Pell Grants. And when she was asked on Fox News, is 50% is going to be all of it, or we're going to go further? She's like, no, we're going to get rid of all of it. So that's wonderful. I mean, guys, this is illegal. This whole thing is illegal. Elon Musk is not allowed to do the things he's doing. He's not allowed to cut the Department of Education. He is not allowed to cut Social Security. This is supposed to be going through Congress. Anyway, Linda McMahon, she's just basically towing the line, just like every other one of his appointments to his cabinet. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And we absolutely need to be fighting back, especially our Congress members. But, give them hell, people. Go out there and protest as much as you can, because this stuff can't stand. It just can't stand. And let's see what else is going on. Y'all remember last week when Zelensky came to the White House? Last week, was it 2 weeks ago? Time is dilated. I have no idea what time anything is. But Zelensky came to the White House, and Trump and Vance did a little tag team on him. Said that he was the aggressor and he's the one that is, pushing us towards World War III. Russia invaded Ukraine. That's it. That's all there is. Well, anyway, during that period of time, I find it a little bit funny because if y'all remember the Epstein files, they were going to release the Epstein files. And they basically released everything that was released 10 years ago on Gawker, except they put a black line through everything and redacted it even further and said, oh, we're releasing all this information. No, you're not. You're releasing less than Gawker did 10 years ago. We all know that Donald Trump had sex with Melania on the Lolita Express. We all know that shit. I mean, we know that he was on that plane a half a dozen times or more. They were friends. We all know this stuff. So when they are going to intentionally block this kind of information from getting out there and then pretend like they're releasing it, and then they get caught with their pants down, and even right-wing MAGA folks are like, hey, this is the stuff that they released on Gawker. Yeah. Did you really think that Donald Trump was going to release that? Well, Donald Trump is good at one thing. He's good at distraction. So that was right around the time where Zelensky came to the White House, and the two of them did a tag team on him and busted his chops and gave him shit for the clothing he was wearing. It's just absolutely insane. But it worked. And the Epstein conversation disappeared, and it focused more on Zelensky and Ukraine. Well, anyway, it went back and forth between Trump and Zelensky until finally Zelensky shakes his hand, does the deal. But at that day of of him coming to the White House, Donald Trump and Vance especially, was saying, you're causing this war to continue to go on. And Zelensky's like, look, I can sign a ceasefire agreement with you all the livelong day. But nothing is going to change because Putin is not going to honor this deal. Well, guess what? He was absolutely right. Putin did not honor the deal. And he fired 60-some missiles at Ukraine, right after the damn thing was signed. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't think that it really matters to begin with anyway, because Donald Trump went and met with Putin in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to do a deal on a ceasefire without Zelensky. So what's the point of having one of these if you're not going to invite the other guy that's involved in the ceasefire? It's absolutely ridiculous. And personally, I think that this just mirrors what's going on with Israel and Netanyahu. It's yet again another aggressive force that Donald Trump is behind, and the person who is actually being invaded, they're the aggressor. They're the bad guy. Now, anyway, more on that to come, I'm absolutely sure. Let's see. The USDA. Going to be a lot of these turns here, folks. There's so much news, so I'm just going to have to make sharp turns. The USDA cancels $1 billion in feeding school kids and food banks. I saw the interview on Fox News, the new head of the USDA, and she immediately blames it on transgender. She goes, "We're spending millions of dollars on transgender awareness." It's bullshit. It's just another trigger just for you, for the right-winger out there who needs to get fired up about this. She blames it. She's like, "Oh, this was a COVID thing." During COVID, one of the main ways we kept kids from going hungry is feeding them in school. Now, of course, all the blue states were like, COVID is over, but this is a pretty good program and we're feeding kids, and isn't that great? It's wonderful. The red states are just like, I can't believe we're feeding the poors. Jesus Christ. I mean, $38 billion for Elon. $17 billion on weapons to Israel. Don't even have to think about that. Done. But $1 billion to feed poor school children? Nah, we can't have that. Nah. This is America. We can't have good things. What are we talking about here? Let's see. The U.S. was just added to a human rights watch list because of our fascistic turn. I don't really know what to say about that other than, yeah, they're probably right. If I was in another country right now at this moment and was thinking about going to the United States, I might have a second thought. I mean, hell, we've managed to piss off Canadians, and they're generally the nicest people that you can meet. And we've just pissed them off to high heaven. We're threatening wars all over. We want a war with Iran. That's the one we want the most. But we're not going to get into that until we really need a big distraction. But with the Panama thing, we've already got. Trump is already telling his military to devise him a plan to invade Panama. We want Greenland for Peter Thiel, and that Peter Thiel, that greasy dude, looks like a vampire. I swear to God, he drinks the blood of children. And I don't want to get all conspiratorial, but that dude, look at him. Every time you look at him, he's just greasy and slimy, and he can't. When you compare him to Elon Musk, he makes Elon Musk seem eloquent. This guy's, anyway, we're looking to invade Greenland. What did he say at the address to Congress? He said, we're going to get Greenland one way or the other, folks. So what is that? One, we buy it. Two, we invade it. Are these the options that we have? I mean, Jesus Christ. So when I see that we have been, added to a human rights watch list, it makes sense. It just makes sense. I don't want it to be this way. I'm not happy about it. I'm an American. I love America. I want America to be better, but we are not being better. We're on this dangerous slide, and we're not stopping. I think we decided to grease up that sled so we can go right down the hill so fast. Trump tells the EPA to drop a Cancer Alley case. There's this company called Dinka. They make neoprene wetsuits, and there is this in the manufacturing of neoprene. They use the byproduct is called chloroprene, and that gets into the air. And there are local schools and waterways that are around. And I don't have a lot of love for Joe Biden, but there are a few things that he did, and he had this company investigated, and there was a lawsuit against them for, not regulating their waste material. And it's always in the poor areas. You know, these factories, these companies, they're always in the poor areas. They're always by some river, and there's a handful of, you know, poor people that live in the area, and they always seem to get sick because that's where the property value is the lowest. So that's why they buy these places, you know, the factories in these places. And Trump decided, you know what, these are some good old capitalist buddies of mine, and we should just drop the case. And immediately, the Dinka company just goes out there and thanks Trump profusely. It's like, oh, they've been putting upon us so much, but this awful, terrible lawsuit. It's like, clean up your shit, man. Stop blaming everybody else for you dumping toxic waste. It's you. It's you. Anyway, so you know, we can't have nice things, and Donald Trump proves it every single day, so awesome. Oh, 7 states in our wonderful union in the year of our Lord 2025 want to ban mRNA vaccines. That's just genius, I gotta say. That's just brilliant. I mean, you know, technology, science, that's just stupid, man. That's elitist. That's coastal elite, you know, believing in science. But, you know, mRNA is, it's in us. And basically, it's this wonderful technology that tells your body how to build up its immunity and fight the new virus. And it's a lot more effective than putting a dead culture virus in your arm. I mean, we were using that in the 60s for polio. More on that soon, I'm sure, with Robert Kennedy doing his thing. But it's an amazing technology that we developed back in the 90s. It sat on the shelf because, you know, you can't make money off of it. The big pharma is not going to use it. But all of a sudden, when we had COVID, it became something that would be very useful. And Operation Warp Speed, under Trump, by the way, that was his baby, and I gave him credit for it, except he's running away from it a mile a minute, and all of his people that I talked to about it, you know, like, oh, no, that was Biden. What are you fucking talking about? Operation Warp Speed was Donald Trump. He spent $40 billion on the damn thing. That was his baby. So, but anyway, 7 states want to get rid of it. I don't know how they're going to make that happen, but I have no doubt that it will. And it probably won't stop with 7 states. Once those 7 states will go, then I'm sure there'll probably be at least another dozen red states that are like, you know, I like the cut of that guy's jib, but we're just going to have to go ahead and do the same thing. Here's one for, you know, it affects me personally. Well, not personally. You know, no, it's me personally. Texas wants to pass a bill that would make you being transgender, and me being transgender, a fraud. Now, I remember back in the day, 2 years ago, when this whole trans thing started up. It was probably like 4 years ago, but it was, we need to protect the children. You know, we gotta make sure that these children aren't being influenced by, you know, evil, you know, pedos. I probably shouldn't say that word. That'll get me demonetized. But, you know, it was protecting children. It's that old Mott Bailey argument. You know, the Mott is we have to protect the children. The Bailey is, we're just going to take away rights from all transgender people. But when they say it was for the kids a couple of years ago, and now they are banning it pretty much for anyone. They're trying desperately to make it more difficult in these red states like Texas, where, you know, you used to be able to get your hormone therapy from a nurse practitioner, but now you have to go through a doctor, which is, they're harder to get a hold of. You're just putting more roadblocks in front of you, making it a little bit more difficult each time. And I mean, their ultimate goal is just to make it impossible for you to be trans in these states, making it unlivable, because they want you gone. I'm afraid that that'll eventually evolve into, you know, we're arresting you for something silly. They say, well, you know, technically you're a man, and then they put you in the men's jail. And then what happens? there will be assault, sexual assault, over something really petty. And I don't think that conservatives really care about that. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. I think that we should treat everybody like a human being, but I don't think that they consider transgender people human. Or if they do, they just consider them mentally ill. And we could either pray the gay away or what? Lobotomize us? I don't know what their plan is, but they never just stop at, it's about the children. No, then they move the goalpost. Well, it's about 18-year-olds. No, actually it's about 20-year-olds. No, honestly, we should do it till we're about 25. Oh, fuck it. Let's just go ahead and just all adults. It doesn't really matter. We think that you are perpetrating a fraud on us, and we think that you need to be banned from lying to us while you look at you walking around pretending to be a woman or pretending to be a man. You're perpetrating a fraud, and I'm calling the cops. And then Karen calls the cops, and the next thing you know, you're getting carted off to jail for being trans. Hey, way to go, Texas. Way to go. And I'm going to end it on this one. Chuck Schumer. Chucky the Schooms. My favorite. He gave up his only piece of leverage. He'd been talking about it for weeks now. Everybody would come up to him, all of the overreaching that Trump and Elon Musk are doing. And Chuck Schumer's like, well, we don't really have the power to do anything about it. And he says, but when the budget comes up, that's when we'll have our leverage. Well, here it is. Cloture is basically, are we going to vote on this budget? There's voting on the budget, but first you need to allow it to come to the floor for a vote. That's what cloture is. And this is when the Democrats actually have leverage. Now, I haven't had a lot of praise for Congress lately, but Hakeem Jeffries managed to get all of the Democrats to stay on message, stay on point, and vote against cloture. I'm really surprised that he did it, because Hakeem has not been impressing me very much lately, but he managed to keep every Democrat from voting for cloture. And then it goes to the Senate. And Chuck Schumer, who had been just a couple of days ago saying, we're going to fight, win. Looking, oh God, man, that guy, Jesus. We are really ruled by a gerontocracy, aren't we? That guy's like 5 minutes from the grave. But so is Nancy Pelosi, so is Donald Trump, so is Joe Biden. They're all old. It's Methuselah. But 2 days ago, he's saying he's going to fight, and then he starts hedging, and then he gets on all the news programs and saying, well, we don't want a government shutdown, because if there's a government shutdown, then things are going to be really bad. What do you think Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing right now? By ending, trying to end the Department of Education, shredding Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. That is shutting down the government. What do you think that is? And this is the only time for cloture you need 60 votes in the Senate to be able to allow it to come to the floor for a vote. The Republicans have, I believe, 53 senators, so you need 7 Democratic senators to vote for cloture to allow it to come to the vote. And there was a handful of them. John Fetterman is one of them. The dude got brain damage and went from a Democrat to a Republican. But there's a whole bunch of other senators that were on board. I believe Kristen Gillibrand, who is, she's Little Miss Cryptocurrency, and a handful of others. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. But Chuck Schumer is the de facto head of the minority in the Senate, and he is showing absolutely no guts, no brass, no metal whatsoever. I saw AOC being interviewed, and they kind of asked her, they floated the idea if she was going to run against him the next time he comes up for election in the Senate, and she didn't say she would, but a whole bunch of normie Democrats right now, not progressives, just regular old normie. I watch the news once a day for like 20 minutes, or I get my stuff off of Facebook or something. Regular old, I don't know nothing about politics, normie Democrats are already wanting to write checks for AOC to run against Chuck Schumer. They are pissed. I saw somebody asked Jeffries about it at an interview. And they say, well, what do you think about Chuck Schumer, going against you guys and voting for cloture? And he just looks at him and goes, next question. He looked pissed. So I don't know what the logic is behind this other than Chuck Schumer just thinking it's 1990 again. But this ain't a working. The math ain't mathin'. And now it's going to hit the floor, and this new budget is going to pass, which basically just says what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing right now. We're okay with it. We're cool with it. It gives it a justification, and this continuing resolution, this CR that they're going to be voting on in a couple of days. By the way, it's not a clean CR, but it is basically just giving a green light to Donald and Elon that, yeah, we're okay with it. And this is our Democratic Party allowing it to happen, giving up their one little bit of leverage. I mean, in 6 months, they're going to be doing budget resolutions that aren't not going to require 60 votes, just a simple majority. And they're going to get everything through. So anyway, that's been what's been going on over the weekend. I hope you guys had a good weekend despite all of that. And anyway, I'll see you soon.